Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about the actor who's been attacked this week, none other than Chris Pratt. Yes, this is a follow-up to our previous video and story about this actor because recently he was attacked by a lot of leftists who assumed he supports President Trump and thus called him a racist and all the other typical names. They said he was a supremacist and he hates minorities and alphabet people and all that fun stuff. They all assumed this about Chris Pratt for one silly reason. You see, what happened was there was a big fundraiser with a lot of the cast of the Avengers, the Marvel movies, of which Chris Pratt is a part of too. He's an Avenger, but he didn't attend this fundraiser for whatever reason. We don't even know why. We don't even know if he was invited, but people noticed that he wasn't on the ticket, so they immediately turned to attacking Chris Pratt, probably because they already didn't like him and they wanted to do this. This is something the left does repeatedly. Every couple months, it seems like they go after Chris Pratt for something, and they have their little excuses. All racist and bigots and anti-white people always have an excuse for the way they attack, but the truth is they hate him because he's a straight white guy, he's successful, he's happy, he's funny, he's got a hot wife, kids, all the stuff. He's very, very good person. He goes to church and stuff as well. He loves America. So all these things put together make the liberals hate him, and that's why they attacked him earlier this week. And now for the follow-up, the rest of the Avengers cast actually defended our boy. That's actually a good move by them. The cast defended Chris Pratt. As you could see by this article, they denied the fact that people dubbed him as the worst Chris in Hollywood. He's really not. He's funny. He's hilarious. He does good things for his fans and people. He makes us laugh and makes enjoyable movies. And as this quote says in the byline, first the line says, Chris Pratt defended by Avengers cast after he's dubbed worst Chris in Hollywood. Then it says, please stop assuming what he believes politically or in any other way. And this is how I felt. This is what I said basically in the first video. I was saying, hey, we don't even really know what politics he is. We could make guesses. We could assume he loves America by what he says and what he wears. He has a pro-American shirt once in a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're left or right. That doesn't mean he likes Trump or Biden even. I mean, the guy just isn't very publicly political. He might not even be privately political. And that seems to be what some of these cast members are saying. They seem to kind of support the theory that he's just not very political. He's just not interested in taking sides. That's his right. That's the thing. Like, I don't know where this new trend's coming from, but right now in the present, if you're a famous person, especially an actor, if you're in this Hollywood bubble, they'll shame you for not saying anything. Like, you could not say anything. Like, you could just stay out of a conversation. Like, for example, if you're talking about voting, or you're talking about an issue, talking about politics or immigration or something, you have to take their side. You can't not take a side at all. So if you just have to take liberal side, that's kind of strict. That's kind of bigoted almost. They're like not accepting people who think differently, and not even that. They're not accepting people who just want to stay out of the conversation. Like, some people are just busy. Some people don't care about politics. Some people have other interests like sports or gardening or whatever it may be, painting. Chris Pratt could be a big biker or something for all we know. He could love playing video games or something different, whichever it may be. What we do know is he hasn't said a side or another. We have a few indications, but that's not enough to go on, especially to go on this second step. So first, the liberals are assuming he hates the Biden side and likes Trump, and then they're calling him racist and a bigot and supremacist, basically based on nothing. Chris Pratt has been defended by his Avengers co-stars Mark Ruffalo, Zoe Saldana, and Robert Downey Jr. after he was dubbed the worst Hollywood Chris. The Guardians of the Galaxy star was the subject of a Twitter poll asked which Chris out of Pratt, Pine, Evans, and Hemsworth should be removed from Hollywood. Pratt quickly attracted criticism from a widespread array on Twitter users who criticized his perceived support of the Republican Party and his attendance at a church which was described as infamously anti-LGBTQ by actor Ellen Page. He has now been defended by his co-stars, with Robert Downey Jr. urging his detractors to delete their social media accounts. Now, that's obviously exaggeration. Robert Downey Jr. has a bit of a sense of humor, as we all know. What he means is, I'm guessing, it's pretty obvious. He means leave Chris Pratt alone. Don't mess with him. He's not doing anything wrong. This quote will probably give us more. It says, "What a world the sinless are casting stones at my brother Chris Pratt, a real Christian who lives by principle, has never demonstrated anything but positivity and gratitude. And he just married into a family that makes space for civil discourse and just plain fact insists on service as the highest value. If you take issue with Chris, I've got a novel idea. Delete your social media accounts, sit with your own defects of character and work on them. Then celebrate your humanness. Chris Pratt, I got your back, coming from Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man himself." And that's a pretty big endorsement. I mean, he's basically the figurehead of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's also also a smart, collected guy. He knows what he's talking about. Robert Downey Jr. is a family man too. He's married. He's very successful. Sure, he's a liberal. Sure, he's supported these causes before. He was in the round of videos they made for the 2016 election. He's not at this fundraiser that sparked this kind of first story. This story is talking more about other things too that brought it up, like that comparison between all those other Chris's. But the point is, Robert Downey Jr. is right. People that are attacking Chris Pratt really have issues themselves. They clearly have some kind of problem or issue, because this is like the nicest guy in the world. It's like attacking Jesus or Gandhi or some kind of perfect person, a saint, Saint George, or whichever it may be. It's attacking a person who's done nothing wrong, who's taken no sides, who's just enjoying his life and being happy. And that's why I think this is going to backfire on a lot of leftists, because Chris Pratt is so likable. And it's, if you don't like someone like this, that means you're a bad person. That makes you bad. It's like I said, it's like not liking someone who's just so likable. I mean, hasn't done anything wrong. Next, Mark Ruffalo comes to bat for him. It says, Mark Ruffalo is a very extreme leftist, by the way. So this support of Pratt says a lot. It says, you all, Chris Pratt is as solid as a man there is. I know him personally, and instead of casting aspersions, look at how he lives his life. He is just not overly political as a rule. This is a distraction. Let's keep our eyes on the prize, friends. We are so close now. That's right. This is a distraction. This is going to make the left look bad. Like I said, attacking someone who's this likable and who hasn't done anything wrong makes you look like a bully, makes you look like a bad person. And seeing these people defend him is a really good sign that things are going to get better. Things are right here. There's people that'll defend someone, even if he might be a little right-leaning. You could suspect that from his Christian background and stuff like that. But the whole anti-alphabet thing, the whole racist thing, that's all nonsense. It's nothing. That's some kind of guilt by association, assumption coming from other things. Like, nothing that Chris Pratt has done has been offensive or attacking any kinds of people. He already refuted that whole church thing. Like, I guess he basically went to a church that might have been connected to something negative about alphabets. I'm not even sure what the specifics are. They don't even point out the specifics. They just say they're anti-alphabet, but I'm not buying that unless you have video or clips or quotes of Chris Pratt actually saying something against gay people. Then all I see is them trying to weasel in and attack at someone that they already don't like for not promoting their political candidate. Sorry, just finding out about this nonsense. Pratt is the best dude in the world. I spent hours and hours sharing my deepest truths with this man, as he has with me. Please stop assuming what he believes politically or in any other way, because he's a Christian. So these people are supporting Christians. That's a problem with the majority of the left, though. They hate religions that are like Christians. They hate Jewish people, and they love that far, far left, far extremist authoritarian religion that starts with an I, comes from the Middle East mostly. And that's the religion they like. That religion's okay, even though they actually do hate gay people. They actually do attack and belittle women and do bad stuff like that. But they're okay for some reason. The leftists pander to them, just like they're electing members of them to Congress like Ilhan Omar. But at the same time, they're attacking Christians. They're suppressing Jews in places like New York City. And it goes to show how messed up this whole world has become. Next, Zoe Saldana steps in. It says, no matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it. Tupac. You got this, Pratt. Your family, friends, colleagues, and everyone who's ever crossed paths with you knows your heart and your worth. And this is important coming from, of course, a minority woman. This is a black chick on the cast with him, works closely with him. I think she's kind of over exaggerating how bad this is, though. It seems a little like, oh, the guy didn't die or get injured. He just got called names on the internet. And these people make stuff up all the time, which is where we're going to go on our next examples. You see, next I want to talk about the next round of backlash. You see, what happened was, first Chris Pratt was called out, then the Avengers defended him. Now the Avengers are being attacked for defending Chris Pratt. You really keep going down the rabbit hole. And this Soundwave tweet is the first example. It says, Avengers cast when Brie Larson is harassed for 3 years. They're sleeping there in the SpongeBob meme that they made. And then next it says, Avengers cast when people joke about Chris Pratt being a Republican. And then there's this whole attack thing. But this is really unfair. This is not a proper representation at all. I mean, people disagreed with Brie Larson and didn't like her performance in the movie. We didn't like how she hated white people and bashed men. So we responded to that. That's not really harassing her. She's a public figure making controversial statements in interviews all over the place, doing these weird videos talking about how she struggled or something when she's this rich, pampered white girl who pretends to be this liberal minority girl. It's just a total mess and totally not true. The people are not going after Brie. She's a multi-millionaire actress who just appeared in her own movie. She just got into the Avengers movies. I mean, she is not hurting. She is not being attacked for nothing either. She did stuff to make this happen. happened. That's the total difference. Chris Pratt has not done anything. He just didn't go to a fundraiser. He just didn't kowtow and support the Democrats that they wanted. It's not like he said something bad like I hate Democrats or I hate black people. It's like, no, not even close. Brie Larson, on the other hand, said white men shouldn't be reviewing her movie, and she's always gone this whole feminist road. So she asked for it. She invited the kinds of dissent coming from her. I wouldn't even call it harassment at all. It's just people disagreeing with her. On the other hand, though, Chris Pratt, not only did he not say anything to provoke an attack, he was attacked much harsher and lied about. They act like it was just a joke here. It's like people joking about Chris Pratt being Republican. I don't even think they were necessarily joking. They were straight up calling him a racist, a supremacist, and anti-LGBT. I mean, that's not a joke. I know there might have been a few memes and there might have been people joking about it in some way, but they truly pinned these bad labels on him based on nothing. Next, we got another tweet from Lantern. It says, so when Zendaya, Chadwick, Anthony Mackie, and Brie Larson, etc. were getting dragged through the mud for their MCU roles, it was crickets from the Avengers Assemble Hive. But when Chris Pratt is being called out for being a Trump supporter, here come the defense squad. I ain't like that. So there's a picture kind of showing them looking at them, judging them, looking at them like they did something wrong. And I don't know, I just don't get it. Zendaya, Chadwick, and Mackie, I don't really remember them getting attacked a lot. I know people kind of questioned Zendaya was the girl from Spider-Man and she was replacing Mary Jane. She kind of race swapped Mary Jane. Chadwick and Mackie, I'm not really sure where this is coming from. Honestly, this Chadwick played Black Panther. No one was attacking him for playing Black Panther. I mean, some people thought the movie wasn't that good. Some people thought it was a little overhyped. And Anthony Mackie, I mean, I can't think of anything that was against Anthony Mackie. Brie Larson, we already went through. But the whole point is you can defend minorities and women and you can't defend Chris Pratt. And on top of that, they're just going to make stuff up about him like saying he's a Trump supporter when he's really not. And that's what the whole thing is here. They're attacking him. This is the last meme. It says Avengers cast when fans obsessively have harassed Brie Larson every day for 2 years versus Avengers cast when Chris Pratt gets called out for supporting white supremacists. Where did he support white? This is just made up. This is just straight up made up. And yeah, they're not harassing Brie. She asked for it when she said mean things. She actually said racist things. Pratt didn't say anything bad, but this is how the world works. People make their own truth. Things are all in flux now on the internet. People just make stuff up, and that's why we have to call it out. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and until next time, have a great day.